Hello everyone, it's Margaret here with 60andMe. Hope that you're doing well this beautiful day. It's a sunny day here and excuse the light that might come flashing now and again, but it's just so pretty. I just have to be here and share it with you and also talk about a topic that I think a lot of you can relate to. So the question is, are you an overthinker? Do you procrastinate because you just simply cannot make a decision? And I think this is actually partly a trait that we develop over time, because we know that if we don't think things through and we don't examine all the possible outcomes, we could end up in a difficult situation. So I think we've learned over time, this is just my opinion, that, to hold back and think about things, have a couple of cups of coffee, to really overthink is actually a good quality. But Jane Sawyer, one of our bloggers, wrote this article on her confessions, and it's a very fun article. I encourage you to read it because it talks about her own story and how she, it's always your own story, right? I mean, everyone is different, but it's a very common trait, this paralysis, action paralysis, where you get nothing done. Should I buy it? Should I not buy it? Yes, I should. I need it. I want it. I don't need it. No, I don't need it. Yes, I do need it. The conversation that you have in your head, it just goes on and on and on. So seeing the problem is the first step, of course, making sure that you understand why you are hesitant about making a decision. Maybe it's got an impact on someone else. Maybe it's a financial concern. Maybe it's just that you have a soundtrack in your mind that you run every time you have a question of, should I purchase this, or should I make this decision? Should I move to this place? Should I not move there? Or even how you engage with people. Should I continue to, go out with that person or see that person, and or be friends and make new friends? All that. Where should I go to do this or that? Total confusion of paralysis because you overthink. You overthink it. Recognize your triggers. And recognize the negative thoughts that emerge when you, when you can't decide, when you just simply cannot make up your mind. I am going to use my fan. It is so hot here today. You don't mind, it's a really pretty fan, actually. It was sent to me as a gift, and I really, really, really like it. I can't put the air conditioner on because it's just way too noisy, so I just sit here and just take a couple of seconds. Because in a way, that's kind of a trigger, I guess, is that when you're feeling under pressure or you're feeling too warm, you have to rethink your decisions. But anyway, okay, so what Jane talks about is the things you can recognize. What are those recognizable things? First of all, the morning for her and for me too is a moment of clarity. So maybe you should start thinking about, putting things that come into your mind at night when you just spin. You spin because that's one of your triggers. You can't, cope with thoughts in the evening. Just get up in the morning, write yourself a note. Think about, and say, think about this decision. Do some gratitude and action, which is one of my latest and greatest things that I'm doing, is to actually go out in the morning and do your gratitude list, but do it in motion. Move your arms, move your legs, talk about the person out loud. I am grateful for. And then in doing that and determining what your plan is for the day and what you really want to be achieving, you then start the questions that are lingering, those decisions that you've got to make that are just too complex. Maybe you need more time to think about them. You could actually come to it with a fresh, rested mind, and then start, working out the day, how you might incorporate your decision making. I'm going to go for a walk, or I'm going to go and have a cup of coffee at the cafe. I'm going to make the decision today, and I'm going to examine all the options, and I'm going to do it in 1 hour, from 10 to 11. And try to be specific with your actions, because then you'll be able to, to really, clear out all the other negative self-talk, all the other, what's the word? Not extenuating. It's the all superfluous, that's the word, superfluous considerations, things that really don't impact the decision. So then another thing you can do is meditate. Now, I like to meditate every day, and I do it because I think that, it just focuses my mind on my breath. It helps me just to be simply here in the moment, in the now, and doing some self-love and self-compassion. Just that moment you take for yourself when you're meditating and you're just sitting, relaxing, and, just taking time for you. Another thing that Jane talks about is these things called decision lists, and they're kind of models that people have put together for making decisions. One thing she talks about, and I actually do use it myself, which is handwritten notes. I do handwrite my notes of checklists of what I've got to do today, and then sub notes of things I've got to decide, things I've got to make a decision on. And it may not be the day that I make the decision, but I'm going to actually use some of these models for organizing myself and organizing my thoughts. Seeing tasks on a list, being able to check them off one at a time, it really does, I think, help to move you towards a decision. And that's the most important thing. Other things to think about: work on your self-esteem. I mean, part of the reason I think that we overthink and that we don't, we don't do the things that are going to guide us toward a decision is that we're overthinking it. Thinking it because we don't trust ourselves. One second. I'm sorry. It's just so warm here. I can see him in the mirror. I'm just completely glowing. And I'm sure it's distracting for you because it's distracting for me. Oh my goodness. I wake up early in the morning to do my videos, and it's still the same situation. This heat today I'm sure lots of you are experiencing this. There's no excuse. Anyway, work on your self-esteem, because trust yourself. You've got to trust your decisions. Embrace your fears. Know that, oh yeah, I'm going to decide to do this, but yes, it's going to be scary. I'm going to do this. I'm going to, could potentially happen, but what's the worst thing that can happen? Find a distraction. Do something like walking or knitting or volunteering, or something that you can distract yourself from the constant dialogue about, should I do this, make this move? Should I do this decision, accept this decision? Should I buy this thing? And find that in that distraction, you might just get your mind onto another groove, get out of that soundtrack that we talked about earlier. And then, of course, the other thing is to actually take small actions. Usually a big decision like buying a house or buying a car or leaving a relationship or some of those big decisions, you could, do it in small steps, small actions, because those small actions will take you towards a clarity of mind. So, to be honest with you, one of the things that I always ask myself, whenever I'm facing a decision. Although right now, to be honest with you, I'm living in the present so much, I don't actually have some big decisions to make. I have decisions on content that I want to do in a video, like, oh, I really want to, what should I talk about next? Those are not they're not life-changing, they're important to me, but, right now I'm not making any huge, big decisions about things. But the thing is to, ask yourself, well, what's the worst that can happen? I may have to turn back on that decision. I may have to, okay, I want to move to Portugal. I want to live in Spain. I want to, go and, I don't know, take up some lessons in something that I've never done before. And shouldn't I? Just do it. What's the worst that can happen? I mean, yes, there's some big decisions like buying a house or leaving a relationship that are, obviously have big impact if that's the worst that can happen. But I think that most of our overthinking comes from things that really are easier to manage than we probably think. And I don't, do you agree with me on this? Am I just going to spinning in my own world here? But are you an overthinker? What do you overthink about? What are the things that obsess you and you cannot make decisions about? Have you been stuck back or held back because of an uncertainty about something that you really, really can't decide on? Are you an overthinker? How has it impacted your life? Has it served you well? Maybe it's part of a achievement of perfection or a balance that works for you, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. So share your thoughts. I mean, even if you're not really clear on what where you stand in this whole thing, let's have a chat about overthinking, over-considering, over-planning. And if you like this video, please like it for me, everyone, because YouTube loves it. The comments, they love activity on a video. They share it with other people. Their algorithm is very intelligent, and it does this for them. And I want to get our message out to as many older women as possible. So please take care of yourself. I'm noticing the sun is shining in on me. I hope it's not been too distracting on this video, but hey, it's life. It's here. Can't overthink it. I just have to do what I can, do the best I can, and hope that you've enjoyed it. So like the video, subscribe to the channel if you like. And oh, by the way, our Patreon group now is just growing like crazy, and I'm loving it. As people are becoming friends, it's our supporters group. You can join, and for a small donation every month, I think it's $3, you can become part of a smaller community, where people are getting together in live shows. I do exclusive videos, and they're meeting in person. They're doing cruises. They're doing coffee meetings. They're getting together in real life. So if that's important to you and you believe in what 60andMe is doing, we would honestly love to have you in our supporters group. Okay, everybody, take really, really good care of yourself. And again, excuse the crazy light today, but I love you all so much and sending you lots of love. Bye for now.